Claire, are you ready for our walk? Come on. Betty doesn't want to go. There's Betty on the other side of the gate. Come on, Claire. Come on. You fraidy goat, Betty. Come on, Claire Bear. Let's go. Come on. Come on. It's our new fence to keep the chickens in. I haven't tightened it up yet, so it's still a little loose. Come on. Gonna watch us, Betty? Come on, Claire. Come in. Let's go. Yeah. All right. Claire will probably stay up here. She's been working on trimming the grass here along the fence. That's probably where she'll stay, and then Betty will be right on the other side of the fence from her. Chicken's heading down to take some dust baths. Hey, guys. Oh, look at you're already in there. Hi, Levy. Such good places for dust baths. Hi, Fran. Hey, George Jr. Glad you're here to watch them. You stand up, George, so you can watch over them. Don't be laying down on the job. Betty, you're just going to hang out with the hens, huh? Okay. There's Lizzie up there. She's not too happy. We'll be back in a little bit. Claire, you're going to go farther with me today? Come on. Come on. Some pretty little spring flowers. Sure Sherry knows what they're called. I can't remember. Claire, are you going to stay right there with your sister and just trim? I think so. Okay. There were some wood ducks earlier, which, geez, I think I've only seen here 3 times in my life. There were 3 or 4 white wood ducks. I think they were wood ducks. I'm going to try not to talk too much. I don't want to ruin the peaceful walk. So here we go. Daffodils here are close to popping out. Claire, are you coming or not? She said nope. This is my favorite hemlock tree. Every time after there's a big storm, I come down to make sure it's still standing, which is really remarkable when you look. It's not a 45-degree angle, but it's getting there. But there's a little tip that's going straight up, so hopefully there's enough root mass underneath here that it'll keep on holding, because it's really leaned a lot for a long time. So And then the daffodils over there, you can see in the distance, that's, I always call the South Trail, but oh, there's some pussy willows right there. But I need to redo, there's a little bridge, so it's too wet to walk through this way, but I need to fix that. One thing my dad taught me is just how pretty natural moss is, and I've appreciated it, I think, since I was about 5 years old, because he just really, really liked lush moss. They have those big mounds in the campground area of Hoffmaster, and used to hike there with him. So it's a spring-fed pond, so creek bends around, the stream bends around that way. There's my tree. So the barn is south of the house, so right now this camera is facing south, and Grandpa Ray had a golf cart out here that he wanted to be able to go from the barn around this east side of the pond and back through. And actually he wanted it for me because he liked to stay off the road. So anyway, I worked really hard clearing a big path, and I was able, when he was still around, to get about 2/3 of the way through. My fear was it was about a 1989 golf cart, and it broke down a lot, and I'm not sure how we would have ever gotten it out. It probably would have sat back here forever as a little memorial, but that since died. And this white pine, some pretty big branches broke off this winter, so I had to just cut a little bit to get through here. I had to really totally change the path because of after the winter, so many big branches came down, and there's a birch that is hung up on that white pine. Anyway, working on, there's a lot of these sharp hickory bushes, so I'm working on cutting through that, and then whenever there's soft wet areas, I break up sticks and eventually fill it in, and makes it nicer. So forsythia trying to come up. I need to get those big tin square things out of there. My uncle knew somebody that worked for Norge Refrigeration, so I'm thinking that's probably where they came from. And then I think they had screens on, and they used them to catch turtles a long time ago. And they're still there. I love the white pines back here and the hemlock. There's more white pines than hemlock. There's a nice hemlock. From what I read, hemlock really do well under the umbrella of other pine trees. So even though that's right underneath a white pine, it's healthy as can be and large. Here's the remains of, there's a willow tree right there. That they're very fragile, of course, and yeah, there's a lot of big chunks that have broken up. I had to saw quite a bit up to make it around the pond, but I'm working on that. Actually, I haven't worked on that in a long time, but I need to work on that. Dexter and I were just down here. I can't do anything when I have Dexter. I need both hands on the leash because he gets a hold of a scent and he's a strong boy. It's just a few crocuses here and there. I planted those 3 or 4 years ago just to have a little color on this trail. Where are you? There's one. Another really pretty spot. Had the barn all set up for the goats and had the pasture down here. Had it probably about 25% fenced in, and my 91-year-old dad at the time said, "You can't put those goats down in the barn. They'll get lonely. That's too far." I'm like, she would have told me that before I was halfway done, but I wanted to make sure that he was happy, so up there's the goat shed. I'll show you that another time because I'd like to show the before and after pictures. And I will end this right about here. That's a really cool, probably 50-year-old magnolia tree right there, and it always blooms really well. It really likes that spot. I was just going to fence in the beginning, just right there, just the square, over to where that little tree shrub is right there, and then extend it farther later. But I think that's project number 64 on my list now, so it won't be this year that I work on that anymore. So I hope you enjoyed the nature talk. Next time I'll try not to talk so much so you can hear the birds.